Hi, I'm Quentin Schultz, author of the book An Essential Guide to Public Speaking. An Essential Guide to Public Speaking. I'm a public speaker myself. I do a lot of it. I'm also a communication scholar, recently retired professor, although I continue to lecture and do courses here and there for different schools. And I do a lot of consulting about communication as well. Everything from writing speeches on behalf of CEOs and other executives to coaching new preachers on their preaching. There are some good stories. I'll have some in some later YouTube videos about that. What I want to talk with you about today is something that's rarely talked about in public speaking, yet it's critically important. And that is the attitude of the speaker. The attitude. It's interesting to me that you can go out and buy a bunch of books on public speaking or go on websites and read up about it. You can take whole webinars on public speaking. But rarely is the attitude of the speaker talked about, even though attitude is critically important. Now, if attitude is talked about, it's talked about in terms of the impact of your attitude on your audience. If you have a good attitude, they're going to be more inclined to believe you, to trust you, to do what you want them to do, and the like. It's not talked about it in terms of the intrinsic value of the right attitude, the intrinsic value, not the value just in terms of the impact on an audience, but the value in terms of being the kind of person that a speaker should be. Yes, I am making a judgment about this, and let me tell you why. Today, so much public speaking is all about speakers getting ahead, putting one over on other people, convincing other people to do things, getting them to do things, persuading them to do things. It's all about getting from audiences what the speaker wants to get from them. While there may be situations where this is all we really need to consider, let me tell you, in my experience, living a life as a public speaker in many, many different ways, it's not the approach to speaking that will help the speaker, you and me, find public speaking fulfilling and worthwhile. Here's why. It doesn't get at the basic right attitude for a speaker. The right attitude, as I see it, is to serve the audience. To serve the audience, to be a servant. What I've coined in my book, to be a servant speaker, a servant speaker. I base that partly on the field of servant leadership, the idea that to be a leader, a true leader, a good leader, a virtuous leader, as well as an effective leader, is to be a servant, one who serves those that one is leading. And so I think the same thing in general about speaking. The right attitude is to be a servant of the audience. And so what we need to be able to do is to ask ourselves the question, always in all of our speaking, am I approaching this in a way that's to the benefit of the audience, not primarily to my benefit? It may benefit me, but if it doesn't first benefit the audience, then I've got the wrong attitude. If you look in public life now at where most of the public speaking is taking place, let's say look at politics, look at campaigns, political campaigns, or if you look in the media, and you look at these speakers that are on the media all the time hosting television programs. You look at a lot of the news reporting about the speeches of people in business and the like. In fact, you can look almost across all of the social institutions. What you find is that audiences are less and less believing the speakers. And the reason is because we're getting, all of us in the Western world, certainly in the United States, are getting a sense that public speakers in whatever venues are not trying to serve us. They're serving themselves. They're serving their careers. They're serving their financial gain, but they're not serving audiences. And I think this is leading us down a very, very bad road in the United States right now. Because the lower the trust level of speakers, the less we trust speakers, the less trust we have in the social institutions in which those speakers work. And I don't think society can survive without trust in speakers. And the way you gain trust principally is not just being honest, but it is in fact having the attitude of serving the audience. So as you think about your own public speaking, as you seek to write speeches, to deliver speeches, to evaluate your speeches, have in mind this principal attitude. Here's the question for you. Are you aiming from your heart as well as your mind to serve the audience as you would want to be served if you were in that audience? And if you can say yes to that, you're moving in the right direction. You will be successful. You might not be as successful as some people who are just really good at putting one over on other people and don't care to serve an audience. They'll just tell any audience whatever the audience wants to believe for them to gain their own notoriety, their success, their popularity. There's a lot of that out there. Don't you go that direction, because then you will be part of the problem rather than the solution with public speaking, poor trust in public speakers, and poor trust in our social institutions. If you're interested more in that, consider picking up a copy of my little book, An Essential Guide to Public Speaking. But either way, regardless of your interest in that book, please take to heart what I'm suggesting to you. Look at your public speaking as a way of serving your audience, or if I can put it in these terms, a way of loving your audience as your neighbor. That's a terrific attitude that we can all take for all of our public speaking to the benefit of the audience, the benefit of ourselves, and the benefit of society. Well, if you like this series on public speaking, please give me a thumbs up, a little like down below. Subscribe to this channel. There's a link below to my book if you're interested in that on Amazon. There's also a link to my website, and there you can subscribe to my website and get text updates on various things, but you can also contact me directly without having to post anything publicly here. And I always appreciate hearing from people personally, privately as well. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video, for considering what I have to say. I'm passionate about this. I hope it came across, because we need better audience-serving public speaking in this country now. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.